But first, I want to talk about how Pink Floyd was right. We brought visual aids today. Look at this picture, huh? Isn't that weird? Anyone remember that? That's from Pink Floyd, The Wall. I remember it's like having so many conversations with Pink Floyd, like about The Wall in particular. And they're like, oh, it was so good, man. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of great tracks that came out of it. Goodbye, Blue Sky, Mother, Empty Spaces. I forget that one. Run to the bedroom in the suitcase on the left. Find my favorite acts. It's great stuff. I mean, Roger Waters did a really good job in a lot of those tracks. But if you pay attention to who wrote like the last couple songs in the movie, you realize he had no idea how to end it. And so it's like, yeah, Pink Floyd, though, however, is a very influential band and a lot of people like it. And so I was thinking about the lyrics for Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, which is, I think I can summarize it real quickly. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Hey, teachers, leave those kids alone. I think that's... Hey, teachers, don't leave those kids alone ad nauseum. And all in all, you are just another brick in a wall or something like that. Very simple lyrics, but, how to start? How to start? I mean, I got to look up the lyrics now. Pink Floyd. I was so dismissive. Another brick in the wall. Lyrics. Holy cow. I feel like an idiot. I should have remembered by now. All right. We don't need no education. Yeah, you kind of do need some education. And so I think that's kind of what's interesting about, because, this was written in the 70s. The Pink Floyd The Wall was written in the 70s, late 70s. And it's clearly about Roger Waters and the band's like experience growing up in those stuffy British schools, and that's what, they were talking about. It's like, there's this one part is like, but in town it was well known when they got home at night, their fat and psychopathic wives would thrash them within inches of their lives. See, now my memory works perfect. The hell. So, I mean, it was kind of like a different time in many ways. And here you see this picture of this teacher figure shoving a bunch of kids into the school, which is a grinder and stuff, pushing out all these, widget people, I suppose. And so, no, we don't need no thought control. We don't, yeah. It was like, even then, even back in the 70s and stuff like that, people thought they were being brainwashed. And so, maybe in some cases they were, especially in places like England, and arguably in the United States as well. So, I mean, yeah, humanity has always kind of been kind of nuts this way. So and I remember I was talking to this guy about it, and it's like, history is cyclical. It doesn't repeat. It rhymes as the spiral grows larger and larger. I forget the name of that theory about how civilization works and stuff like that. Systems become larger and more unwieldy and stuff like that. It's the lesson of the Tower of Babel in many ways. And so it's, but when you talk about like the nature of these four lines I'm talking about in a Pink Floyd song that is, is arguably not one of the best songs on the album. Like Goodbye Blue Sky is amazing. I love that song. Mother, do you think they'll try to break my balls? The sack it takes to put that in a song like that, it's a love ballad that says my balls in it. And so, but these four lines, even if applied today, it's like, we don't need no education. We certainly don't need that kind of education. So it kind of applies today. We don't need no thought control. It's like, yeah, you don't need thought control, especially when you're talking about like, it's like gender is a fluid spectrum, and you could be anything you want along this fluid spectrum. You can make up any identity you want on this fluid spectrum. That's thought control. If they're trying to force nonsense, force lies down your throat, and like punishing anybody who goes against it, that is thought control. Okay? Dark sarcasm. Like, everyone knows that, white people, we're they're the patriarchy, they're the colonizers, they're the slavers, they're the baddest people that ever walked the earth because of their white skin. All right? And what does every single white person in that classroom feel? That we don't need any dark sarcasm in the classroom. You know, teachers, leave those kids alone. And I think that's the point. That's the point of this thing. This is a point of this rant. And this is the point of people who are so mad at educators today. Hey, teachers, leave those kids alone. All right? You're filling their heads up with a bunch of nonsense. And then they come out at 18 years old, not wanting to work, you know, not being able to do basic math, not being able to sign anything in cursive. You know what I mean? They're not learning anything because all you're doing these days is seeming to me is teaching them how to be little protesters, how to be little Instagram influencers, and little activists for your crazy Marxist causes. Hey, teachers, leave those kids alone. You know what? People always make these jokes about Catholic priests, you know, diddling kids and stuff like that. But you know, the rate of teachers messing with kids in schools, in educational facilities, is way higher than it ever was in the clergy. So hey, teachers, leave us kids alone. /end rant.